Welcome to day 2 of Content Giants. Today is August 20th, 2021. How to read like an 8th grader. Today you are going to start with your do now by taking out your signed syllabus and putting it on top of your desk. Please just put it in the middle of the desk. I will come around and get it so you do not have to raise your hand. Then you're going to log into Schoology, Unit 1, Week 1, Day 2 handout. You will click on that and you will make sure that you have the document up along with this video. So you'll split your screen so that you can see this video and the document on 2 separate screens. Just a little reminder that your get to know you surveys are due today as well as the syllabus. So you don't have to prioritize those, but I just want to remind you so that way you know that whatever you're doing, that you need to make sure that you're leaving a little bit more time left at the end of the lesson to get those in. I would like to reset expectations. So here are some things that we need to make sure that we are remembering. We need to keep our areas clean and pushing chairs when we leave. I did see some hot Cheetos on the floor. If I do see anyone with hot Cheetos, they will receive a demerit because we do not want ants or roaches in the classroom. Number 2, any use of profanity will result in a demerit. I want to say I saw a really good shift from the first day of content. A lot of people were making sure that they came back on day 1 of content and they did not have any curse words in class. So you guys did a great job with that. Today, you will also be able to receive giant bucks. Want to make sure that you are putting the headphones back neatly. I want to emphasize neatly. I saw that a lot of them were thrown into the bins. We want to make sure that we are stacking them up neatly, lining them up. If you have a question about what that looks like, Ms. Nelson is very much well-versed in keeping things organized, and I can help you make sure that you have it back the way it needs to look. All right, so where is this now says do first, you're going to look on your handout, and right here it says criteria for success. Your answer begins with a capital letter. Your answer also needs to include punctuation. So before I read any questions, I know that I need to make sure that I'm following this criteria for success that is right here on my screen. Question number 1, do you think that humans will live on Mars one day? Why do you think we will or will not? At this time, I want you to pause this screen and I want you to put your answer to question number 1. Again, you're going to pause the screen and you're going to put your answer to question number 1 on your handout. Now that you have put your answer to question number 1, you are going to answer question number 2. Do you think humans should live on Mars one day? I want to remind you that your answer needs to begin with a capital letter and it needs to include punctuation. So pause this screen at this time and put your answer for question number 2 on your handout. You will pause the screen at this time and put your answer for question number 2 on your handout. When you're done with the do first, I want you to raise your hand so that Ms. Nelson can see that you have finished the do first. Now, let's get into the objectives for today. Students will be able to distinguish between fragments and sentences and correct them in writing. Students will be able to use text evidence to support response to reading. This is what we were doing yesterday, the text evidence to support response. So we are just building upon that prior knowledge and we are trying to get practice with that. What's new today is the fragments and sentences that you guys didn't get yesterday, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that later. All right. Now, on your handout, you will have a link that you are going to click. You are going to use this website to get insight on Mars. So you're going to click around. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to click around the website, look at images, and find out information about Mars. After you find this information, you are going to talk to your friend next to you at a level 1 voice. You can share one thing with them that you found interesting about Mars and one question that you have about Mars. So do that at this time. Pause the video here while you are looking around on the website. All right. So now that you are done looking around on the Mars website and you shared that with your partner, what I want you to now do is to look at the screen. You have 2 words here, exploration and innovation. This is also on your handout. It says, in order for humans to one day live on Mars, additional exploration of the planet and its resources is necessary. So this is giving you context clues about what this definition is. Then you see innovation. It says the biggest innovations shaping the future of space travel are in the areas of heavy rockets and long-term stays in space. That is giving you a context clue of what innovation means. At this time, I want you to click on learnersdictionary.com and I want you to look up the definitions for exploration and innovation and put them on your handout underneath each one of those words. So pause the video here to do that. Good job. So now that we have put our definitions on our paper, we are going to begin reading. Mars Exploration Program. Purpose. The purpose of the story is I want you to take a look at the title and tell me if this is A, to inform, B, to persuade, or C, to entertain. You're going to highlight the correct answer green. After you do that, I want you to answer this question. How do you know? And I gave you a sentence stem. Then you'll move on to a prediction. What do you predict this story is going to be about? It says Mars Exploration Program. What do you predict this story will be about? I'm going to ask you to pause your screen now to answer the purpose, how do you know, and the prediction. Good. Let's get into our CFS for annotations. It says I need to highlight important who's and what's in what color? Right, it needs to be yellow. Then I'm going to highlight unknown vocabulary in blue and text evidence in green. Pay very close attention. We are now getting into the teacher model. Once you are ready to get into the teacher model, what I want you to do is raise your hand and let Miss Nelson know that you are now in the teacher model. All you have to do is raise your hand. I just want to be able to see how far along you are. You are now in the teacher model. Okay, let's pay very close attention because Ms. Nelson is going to explain to you how to do the rest of this. It says, in anticipation of someday sending humans to Mars, NASA has begun searching for suitable locations for humans to land. The agency is looking for locations of high scientific value that would also provide resources to allow human explorers to land, live, and work on Mars. Locally derived natural resources such as water and oxygen are crucial for humans to explore Mars. NASA's Mars Exploration Program is a science-driven, technology-enabled study of Mars as a planetary system in order to understand the potential for Mars to have hosted life and the ways Mars compares to and contrasts with the Earth. The goal is to maintain a continuous scientific presence on Mars until humans are able to land there one day. Stop. What is NASA's purpose in studying Mars? My answer is going to make sure that my answer is in a complete sentence and that it begins with a capital letter. It says, NASA wants humans to eventually live there in the future. How do I know this? What's my evidence, which is highlighted in green, because our text evidence is always highlighted in green. I know this because paragraph 1 says, the agency is looking for locations of high scientific value that would also provide resources to allow human explorers to land, live, and work on Mars. So my evidence proves my answer to the first question. Now you are going to do some partner practice. It is the partner practice portion of your handout. You will do this in your seats at a level 1 voice with a partner for the next 20 minutes. At this time, you have the option of working with a teammate to complete this portion of the handout. If you do not want to work with a teammate, you may work alone, but do note that you only have 20 minutes, so it's best to work with someone. If you need help, raise your hand and Ms. Nelson will come over to you to assist. Please be patient as I am working with multiple students, so please be patient. If I do not get to you quickly, please feel free and utilize your teammates at your table. Now we're getting to our guided notes of the handout. So you just finished your partner practice. If you did not finish your partner practice, I need you to pause the video now to complete that and then come back. Okay, back to our guided notes. It says a complete sentence has, you are going to fill this in on your handout. A subject, a verb, a capital letter in the beginning, punctuation in the end, and where needed. So let's remember what a complete sentence is before we get into our exit ticket. Pause the video here. Now that you have finished putting in your guided notes, we're moving on to the exit ticket. It says, after taking part in the gallery walk and class discussion, revise your response from earlier. Should humans live on Mars one day? Your answer should be 4 to 5 complete sentences, including all of the sentence capitalization and punctuation rules we just reviewed. And again, those were the rules that were up at the top that we just read. Now, include an example from something we discussed in class today. So the question is, should humans live on Mars one day? We are going to review our answer from earlier, and this is how you'll check yourself. I started my answer with a complete sentence by restating the questions. Humans should or should not live on Mars one day because. So that's the first sentence should look like this. My answer is 4 to 5 complete sentences. My answer includes an example from the text. All of my sentences start with the complete letter. All of my sentences end with punctuation. All of my sentences express a complete thought. So I want you to, as you are completing each one of these, go ahead and just highlight each one of these as you complete them. So that way you know that you have everything the exit ticket is asking of you and you have the most opportunity to get an A on this portion of the assignment. So go ahead and press pause and get started on your exit ticket. Remember, this should be done independently. No one should be helping you with this except for Miss Nelson. So this should be done independently. You should not be working with a peer. All right, so if you are here, that means you are at the end of the lesson. Make sure that you have everything on your handout completed. And here's a reminder, the Get to Know You survey is due today, so make sure it's complete by the end of class. If you end up finishing early with your handout, this is the time to go ahead and get that Get to Know You survey completed. Directions, also ensure that you submit your completed handout to Schoology. You have to click submit for me to get it. So make sure that you click submit on your handout so that way I can get it from you and you can get the best grade possible. So good job on this. If there are any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. This is the end of the video and we will move on to the next part of the lesson, whole group.